When your favorite perfumer creates a fragrance with your favorite note, what do you do about it? You make sure you get a bottle and start wearing it. Oh my God, I have not been excited about a fragrance this much for a long time. This is a new fragrance called Vanagloria, created by Dominique Ropion for the house of Laboratorio Olfattivo. I haven't spoken a lot about Laboratorio Olfattivo, although there is one video on the channel that we did a first impressions of a lot of different fragrances from this house. And then there's a few videos of perfumers that have created fragrances for this house spread out on the channel as well. But this is my first official full review of a fragrance for Laboratorio Olfattivo, created by my favorite perfumer, Dominique Ropion, and it's with my favorite note of vanilla. Vanagloria is a different take on vanilla, but I'm obsessed with it. It has something else that also competes with the vanilla note in here, and I'll let you know all about it. It's currently being sold at San Francisco's Tigerlily Perfumery, and they are also sponsoring sample sets for 3 subscribers of this channel from the USA. Sample sets, and I'll let you know what fragrances come with it. Of course, there will be a sample of Vanagloria, but if you're curious to learn about this and take a crack at trying to win a sample set, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. Yes, I'm a huge fan of Dominique Ropion's fragrances. He's created some amazing, amazing fragrances that I'm obsessed with. And some of them are, you know, really big fragrances. And I was very, very excited about this particular fragrance as well. And sure enough, it does not disappoint. I guess I thought I was getting something different with the vanilla, but I did look up the notes and I did notice that there were some other notes that are in here that I thought, okay, this is not going to be a syrupy, gooey, gourmand vanilla. It's different. It's a different vanilla, but it's really, really good vanilla. But I'll let you know about this, plus the giveaway at the end of the video. But before I get to the fragrance, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So how many of you are familiar with Laboratorio Olfattivo? How many of you are familiar with Vanagloria? How many of you are familiar with Dominique Ropion's fragrances? And lastly, how many of you are familiar with Tigerlily Perfumery? It's a San Francisco perfume shop here in the Mission District off of Valencia, and they do carry Laboratorio Olfattivo. And as I said, I have done a few fragrance videos, one specific video for the brand, and several other inclusions of fragrances, and of course some interviews with perfumers. You can always search on the channel to find them. But we're going to talk about Vanagloria because I'm excited about this one. And again, as I said, it's a different take on vanilla, not a gourmand vanilla whatsoever, but this is a 2021 launch. Again, perfumer is Dominique Ropion. 100 ml bottle is $170. It's Eau De Parfum concentration at Tigerlily Perfumery. You can also buy samples, 1.5 ml, $5. And I'm really, really digging this one. Really, as I said, it's wearing great. And not your typical gourmand, but notes featured in here are saffron essential oil, pineapple accord, Olibanum resinoid, Olibanum essential oil, Tonka bean absolute. Finally, in the base notes, we have bourbon vanilla extract, CO2, and musk. So when you are hearing the Olibanum resinoid plus Olibanum essential oil, that is what this fragrance is all about, along with the vanilla. So for me, this is a very smoky take on vanilla, an incensey take on vanilla. Just imagine you're sneaking in your favorite vanillic dessert in church. I'm Christian Orthodox. I grew up Christian Orthodox, so I know churches can smell very incensey. So as I said, just imagine bringing in your favorite vanillic dessert while church service is happening. You can smell the frankincense, you know, burning and walking by with the priest, and then you're, you know, munching on this sweet dessert kind of a thing. That's the kind of experience I get with this one. It's very, very spiritual. It's almost like a religion that you're like praying to vanilla kind of a thing, you know? That's what I like about this. It's a different vanilla. You can't say delicious because I almost said it's delicious, but you know, it is delicious because it's still sweet, but it's smoky and resinous at the same time. The fragrance starts off saffrony right off the top with the first spray. Saffron, lightly leathery touches, aromatic and herbal spicy touches here. And there's a very, very, very light pineapple accord. In fact, I hardly get pineapple. I have to like really like put my nose and focus on it to pick up the pineapple accord, so it's not really prominent. But for me, right up at top, it's very aromatic, spicy, and of course leathery at the same time. But immediately the Olibanum takes over. It's lots of resinous touches here and balsamic touches here, and this is where you start experiencing the smokiness and of course kind of like the churchy kind of smell touches here with this particular fragrance. Lots of it. It's as they credit the Olibanum Resinoid along with the Olibanum essential oil, so it's the same note pretty much, but different ways of using it are featured in this particular fragrance. But of course the vanilla, and even though the Olibanum Resinoid and the Olibanum essential oil are pretty prominent here, the vanilla is even a little more prominent. They definitely takes over, because while you're experiencing the incensey touches of the Olibanum, the resinous touches, you're really starting to get the vanilla now. But what the Olibanum does to the vanilla, it's toning down its sweetness. So even though this is a sweet vanillic fragrance, it's not as sweet as some other vanillic fragrances that could be like tooth-rottingly sweet and sugary kind of a thing. It's not sugary, it's definitely vanillic, but the combination is great. The incense or the Olibanum resinoid notes that are in the heart really work wonderfully together with this particular vanilla fragrance. A different take on a vanilla. I guess I'm kind of getting burnt out on vanilla. I love vanilla, don't get me wrong, and this is a nice change of pace for a vanilla. A note that I don't typically see with incense, you know, or vanilla is what I should say. Incense and vanilla together, rarely experience it, although I have experienced it, and but not prominently, you know. You do get incense show up in vanillic fragrances, but not so heavily like here. But it really, really does work great. It works great. And as I said, it's like a spiritual experience almost, like we're praying to vanilla kind of a thing. Or, you know, just imagine eating some vanillic sweet dessert while church service is happening. That's the experience I get with this one. It's a spicy fragrance. It's leathery. Also very gum resiny, like you can experience the gumminess in here. The vanilla is not syrupy, it doesn't flow. They're in chunks as you're wearing them. And of course it's very, very powdery and spicy at the same time. What a great fragrance this is. Totally different than what I've smelled from Dominique Ropion as a perfumer. And I like that because I like to collect Dominique Ropion fragrances, but I don't like them to be identical. And if I do see something that's very similar to others, I wouldn't want it, you know? Like he does, I want to have different fragrances from Dominique Ropion, and this one is totally different than what I have from him as a perfumer in my collection, and it totally works. I think if you guys don't know Dominique Ropion's fragrances, I highly recommend you try. Stay tuned for a video on Dominique Ropion's fragrances. I am doing a special video on all of his fragrances that I have in my collection, and of course this will be featured in there as well, but there will be a lot of other Dominique Ropion fragrances. And as I said, I'm a fan of his perfumes. His perfumes are really great fragrances. There's a lot of them that I really love wearing, and some of my most favorite fragrances happen to be created by him. He, along with a few other perfumers, I really respect and look up to, and I think he did a great job here. And also, Laboratorio Olfattivo is not very hyped brand. I think you guys should check it out, and it's a cool thing that Tigerlily Perfumery is, you know, selling their fragrances. I don't see any other places that sell this brand, and it's definitely a great brand for you guys to check out. They have some great fragrances, and the samples that are included in the kit, which is like this, and you will get 2 additional samples. One is the Mandarino, which is great. It's a great mandarin orange, and of course the second sample that's not going to be in the box is going to be for Vanagloria here, but the other samples include Baliflora, Tuberosis, Tantrico, and Vetyverso. Vetyverso I have as a full bottle, and I have spoken about it in a couple of different videos. If you're curious, you can look up that fragrance to learn more about the Laboratorio Olfattivo brand and their fragrance, Vetyverso. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this particular fragrance. It's something I don't really talk a lot about for performance. It's a great performing fragrance. It lasts great a long time. It's not a big projector, so it's not that kind of a fragrance, but as a fragrance to cling on you and last, I think its performance is really, really great. Also, the other thing is the cloud is pretty big, but it's not like a projection beast. It just has great longevity, but it's a little subdued with its projection and massillage. But there is a cloud there, you'll experience it, but it's not like a beastly thing. What a great fragrance this is. I'm obsessed with the way it smells. A great change of pace for vanilla. A great change of pace for incense as well, because incense and vanilla, I have experienced light vanilla with incense, but this is like the competing notes, incense with vanilla, and they work really, really wonderfully together. So check this one out, Vanagloria from Laboratorio Olfattivo, sold at Tigerlily Perfumery. Now, on how to participate for your chance to win a sample set, there's 3 of them. It's a USA giveaway. Of course, Tigerlily Perfumery is a USA store, so they do not ship outside of the USA. All you have to do is let me know what you liked about this review and why you want to win the samples. And if you were to buy a bottle of Vanagloria, why would you buy that bottle? Let me know, because I'm curious to see if you like the idea of incense and vanilla, you know, together as a fragrance. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in to learn all about Laboratorio Olfattivo's new fragrance, Vanagloria, created by Dominique Ropion. This is in their Masters collection of fragrances. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. I have a link to Tigerlily Perfumery also in the info box. You can go check out their store and their fragrances. Other than that, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Guys, I'm happy that you stuck around for my bonus video after the outro, or outro as you guys like it more. I wanted to highlight a book that is specifically about Dominique Ropion that I also picked up from Tigerlily Perfumery. It's called Aphorisms of a Perfumer, Dominique Ropion right here. It's a great book from the folks who do the Nay magazines. Periodical magazines, Nez or Nay. They also do these more periodical notes-focused books that I love. I'm absolutely in love with. And they actually have this amazing book called Aphorisms of a Perfumer, Dominique Ropion. And this is all about Dominique Ropion and his perfumery and all that good stuff. He's been making fragrances or perfumes for 30 years. And he goes through a lot of different notes and processes, and of course there's actually a small chapter about Portrait of a Lady, chapter 12 right here. So there's a lot of information, and it's a very easy read. You just have to understand a little bit about perfumery. I'm sure a lot of you know already, but this is a great way for you to learn about a perfumer's background, especially Dominique Ropion. He's my favorite perfumer. I think I've mentioned it many times in the past, but a great reference book. And the cool thing about this book also is at the end, it's very similar to the Nay magazines. There's this section right here. It's called Perfumography. And after that, you go through some of his most famous creations. Like there's many pages here. Starting off with Isatis from Givenchy, created in 1984. He created the original Safari for women in 1990. He created Amarige right there. And this is a fragrance I knew and loved for my mom. I actually gave her a bottle of it without even knowing who Dominique Ropion was. Jungle Elephant from Kenzo, he did that one, which I have spoken about in a recent video. And you know, he's also done Vetiver Extraordinaire for Frederic Malle. It doesn't seem to be my favorite fragrance from Frederic Malle, but it's a good fragrance, and so on. So the collection or the book goes on to, you know, highlight some of his most amazing offerings, like Alien for Mugler he did. Of course, he did Carnal Flower for Frederic Malle as well. So he has a lot of Frederic Malle fragrances. He's also done a fragrance called Bois d'Orange, yeah, Bois d'Orange for this brand called Roger and Gallet, which I actually have worn, and I should pick up another bottle as well. It's a fresh fragrance, but it's a woody orange fragrance. He's done Geranium Pour Monsieur, La Nuit de la Homme, Acqua di Gioia from Armani, Burberry Rhythm for him, Invictus. Sadly, one of my most despised fragrances. I can't stand Invictus, but I can't love everything the man has created. The Night. He's created The Night for Frederic Malle. And so on. So there's a lot of great information in this book, and I think if you're a fan of his creations, a great one to pick up. And it's a very, very easy read, and obviously you can see it's not that thick, but it's chock full of information. Anyway, I have this linked in the info box as well. This I picked it up from Tigerlily Perfumery here in San Francisco. Anyway, thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video after the outro to learn a little bit about aphorisms of a perfumer, Dominique Ropion, from the folks who bring us Nay magazine. And if you don't know Nay, I highly recommend you check it out. I have a whole video about it. Thanks so much. Bye.